Okay, guys, I wanted to take a moment to talk about this because I thought it was very interesting that we are starting to see some rumors upcoming Sony FX2. Now, if you have not heard about the rumors, they are saying that Sony is getting ready to release an FX2, which is going to have like a tiltable EVF. Just for the fun of it, I asked ChatGPT to give me a hyper realistic rendering of what this camera may look like. So I literally just took my FX3, I held it in my hand, and I just, took a picture of my iPhone and I asked it, please, give me a rendering of what this camera may look like. So it just generated something that I thought looked really cool. I mean, if it, they're saying it's supposed to be a tiltable EVF, kind of like what the GFX, Fujifilm GFX cameras do. So and those EVFs are incredible and detachable. So if Sony is going to bring something like that, man, that is awesome. I think that is a crazy nice feature to have because I shoot with an XH2S primarily, but I also have my FX3 as my camera for like low light environments where I really cannot control the light. And sometimes I wish I had an EVF because it is so nice to sometimes just have it, especially when you're outside and it's, very sunny and bright. It's very hard sometimes to look at that little screen, or even my Ninja V sometimes, I look at it and it's just not bright enough. So besides having the tiltable EVF, they're saying that the FX2 is going to inherit the same sensor as what's currently inside the Sony a7C Mark II. Now guys, don't get me wrong, that sensor in the a7C Mark II it's a good quality sensor. It's 33 megapixels. But the thing is, right now it's struggling with some very bad rolling shutter. So if you're, used to using your FX3 and you kind of do a run and gun, like you're running around with the camera, you're going to really see that, that rolling shutter with that 33 megapixel sensor. So I don't know if Sony is just going to pack way more power onto the sensor and just the overall processing power. And also perhaps maybe they're going to do something like where they're going to partially stack the sensor, like what they're doing with the Panasonic S1 Mark II and the Nikon Z6 Mark III. If they do something like that, then I really think that they're going to keep the rolling shutter minimal. Now, besides the sensor, the rumors are saying that the camera is going to do 4K 60 in Super 35, which is kind of crazy to me because, guys, we're in 2025. I feel like cameras should, like the standard for like these higher end cameras should be 4K 120. Like that should be like the benchmark, and everything after that is like bonuses and pluses, right? Now they're saying that the camera is going to support 32-bit float. I don't know if that's going to be with like a, new top handle or if that's going to be with an external recorder or whatever, but this is what they're saying. The body is supposed to be a little bit thicker, which, maybe because the sensor is 33 megapixels, it produces more heat because that image it's a 7K image. So processing that takes more processing power, I would imagine. And naturally with that, you're going to need to have maybe a thicker body to keep that sensor cool. This next one, this feature I wish that we had in the FX3, but it came out after, is the AI chip. Now the AI chip enables for much better autofocus. Now the FX3 has incredible, like God tier autofocus, but the AI chip just makes it a little bit better and more reliable. Now, as far as the ports go, the ports they're saying are supposed to be very, the same as what the FX3 has, which is great. The FX3 has amazing ports. It has the, the dual slots for CF Express Type A and 2 SD slots as well. Having the same ports as the FX3 is a great thing. And finally, the last thing, the launch date they're saying is supposed to be May 28th of this year. So we're very, very close to that launch date. And I am very curious to see what Sony is really going to introduce. If these are, like the specs, I got to tell you guys, I am like, this is super underwhelming to me. I mean, the fact that it's, 4K 60 and, super cropped, that is just a no-go. That is a no-go. We cannot have that in 2025. A lot of these like newer high, like look what Panasonic is doing, right? With the S1 Mark II. Like the frame rate options and the resolution options are like really unlimited. Like there's so many options that you have with that Panasonic. So like this FX2, I mean, it's got to come out and have way more than what these specs are showing. Now, if I had a wish list for the FX2, I would definitely throw all of these features in, but of course, I would, give you 4K 120. I would have even, 6K open gate. Like, why can't Sony do that in 2025? Open gate is an awesome feature. My XH2S has that, and I love having that feature. That 3:2 aspect ratio is amazing for cropping in. Like, if you want to have a 16:9 final, image, or a 9:16 for social media, that open gate is like clutch for that. You absolutely need it. And I can tell you, when I'm shooting with my FX3, putting the camera vertically, like, it kind of sucks, honestly. Like, I have to really kind of build out my entire rig just for, social media. Then I have to have another rig specifically for 16:9, which a lot of people, don't even want anymore. But sometimes when I'm working with a client and I'm shooting in, 9:16 vertically, they're saying, oh, it would be really nice if we could use that image for my website. But, now, we're stuck with a 9:16 aspect ratio, and I can't make it a 16:9. I mean, I guess I could, but then the whole, footage is off. So yeah, guys, I really want to hear your opinion on what you think about this rumored Sony FX2. I want to know if you think these specs are up to par for 2025, if you would consider getting it. By the way, they're saying it's supposed to be $3,500. Now, guys, $3,500 for that it's just way too much. That camera should be like $2,500. It should be nowhere near $3,000. For those specs, $2,500 is very reasonable, considering what the other guys have. Nikon Z6 Mark III, Z8, Panasonic S1 Mark II, and all these other camera brands. Like, guys, if this is supposed to be a cinema camera, it needs to come out and it needs to be an absolute banger. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think. I think it's very interesting that Sony is releasing this pretty much right after the S1 Mark II. So I think that these rumors, I think they're very light. Now I hope that these specs, these rumored specs, are just rumors and they're not going to be the actual camera. And I hope that Sony finally gives us open gate, and perhaps Sony gives us internal RAW, whether it be ProRes RAW or their own version of RAW. That would be very welcoming. But please make the file sizes small, because ProRes RAW is, to me, unusable. I don't use it because I use DaVinci Resolve, and also I don't use it because the file sizes are just tremendous. They're huge. So yeah, guys, that is it for me today. I thought this was very interesting, and I thought it was worth sharing with you. And if you have not done so, please consider subscribing, because it helps my little channel and it helps other people see these videos. Thank you again for watching today, and I will see you on the next one.